नमो अरिहन्ताणम् नमो सिद्धाणम् नमो आयर्याणम् नमो वज्रायाणम् नमो लोय सव्वसाहूणम्. Today is the day of Uttam Tyag Dharm. This is a religious attribute, and here Tyag does not mean simple sacrifice, but it means anugrahartham swasyati sargaha, for the benefit of our own spirit, for the benefit of others. When we sacrifice something, that is called Tyag. Here, in this Uttam Tyag Dharm, and therefore, when somebody refrains from taking salt, when somebody abstains from taking sugar, when somebody avoids taking oily foods, that is called rasa parityaga. But here, Tyag is a different thing. Tyago Danam. Here, Tyag is called charity. And Sanyatasya Yogyam Jnanadi Dhyanam Tyaga. In the scripture Sarvarth Siddhi it is written that Sanyatasya Yogyam, there are many things that can be donated, but all things can't be donated. There are things that are not worth donating. For example, a monk cannot donate a chocolate or a packet of cigarette or a bottle of wine. That is not worth it. But sanyatasya yogyam jnanadi danam tyaga. But a monk, a sanyat, can donate knowledge, can give initiations, can give purifications, can give such things that are equipments for an aspirant. He can give discourses. He can give speeches. He can give knowledge, scriptures. He can give in written some beautiful thoughts. He can give love and compassion. selflessly. And that is why it is called Uttam Tyag. He can give blessings, he can give healings, he can give spiritual vibrations. He can give many things that can't be given by anybody else. A real monk we are talking about. When a monk meditates, the whole atmosphere becomes tranquil. Everything becomes peaceful. Once we were meditating at Bhojpur near Bhopal, and just we had started japa on a rosary, and just we were going to start it. At that moment, a striped lizard came from somewhere. It came near us and it opened its mouth and just it was breathing very fast like this. It was the time of midday. The atmosphere was a bit hot. We thought that this animal must be thirsty. So we called Brahmachari Shreyansji and said that Shreyansji, we think that she wants to drink some water. Shreyans Brahmachariji took our kamandal and just poured some water in front of that animal and went away. That striped lizard drank the water, and after drinking, it did not just go away, it did not return. It came near our feet and then just brushing our feet, it went behind us and then far away. There are many such incidences in many monks' lives. So a monk can give compassion, a monk can give unconditional love. Those who possess it, they can only donate. Those who don't possess cannot. Once we had talked about Yashodhar Muniraj. The whole story is like this. He was in deep meditation under a huge tree. Everything was still, but a king came from Magad and just looked at him and then went away. He did not respect him. He went away. And then his fellow men were also with him. They all were planning to hunt some big creature. But that day, they were unsuccessful. And when they returned, they again saw that meditating monk. The king asked his minister, "Who is he?" The minister said, "He is the queen's guru." The king had some misgivings about queen's guru. So he went to, he was so angry, he could not control himself. He turned his horse towards the monk and wanted to kill him with a bow and arrow. But suddenly from the bushes, a snake blocked his path. The horse stood where it was and raised its front feet and started neighing. The king was upset. He just released the arrow on that snake. The snake was dead. The king dismounted the horse, held the snake with his arrow that had hit him, and then sound of Gajalakshmi, elephant, and then he put that snake like a garland on the neck of the meditating monk. Returned back home. After 3 days, he said to his queen, I had seen your guru few days back. He was meditating. So I put a garland around his neck. The queen was surprised. Our gurus don't wear garlands or any ornaments. What is the king trying to say? And then the king revealed the truth. The queen stood astonished, like a statue, a lifeless statue. The queen was shocked. She just spoke very slowly and asked the king, why did you do this? You have put yourself in hell. You shouldn't have done that. The king said, the fellow must have removed the snake and gone for begging alms. He must have filled his belly and come back. The queen said, if it was my guru, if he was my real guru, mountains can move, but not he. The king said, let's see. The queen already wanted that immediately we should go there and remove all those problems that might have arrived after this event. The queen also took with her lukewarm water. She also took some sandalwood paste. She also took some soft cloths, etc. And then when they reached there, it was night time. Of course, everything was dark, but in the moonlit night, the monk was visible. The queen went near him The shape was visible. There was, of course, a snake on his body, and there were some movements which were visible in the dim light of the moon. The queen understood that these are terrible ants. They are eating off the body of the snake and also damaging the skin and flesh of this monk, my guru. She instantly went closer and immediately held the snake with her two hands and threw it away. She put some candy sugar nearby and removed all the ants from the body of Muniraj. This is what is written in the Jain scriptures, the Shrenik Charitra, in the Sanskrit text, which we are now narrating. She washed the wounds with lukewarm water and applied the sandalwood paste on the wounds. And this took quite some time because the ants were adamant. They did not easily leave the body of the monk. There were continuous tears in the eyes of the queen because she could not imagine the pain that had been inflicted upon her guru. She could not imagine, but she just, out of compassion, was crying. The king was looking at all this and thinking in his mind, what have I done? After some time, it was dawn, and when the sun rose, the monk opened his eyes. The queen was at his feet with folded hands. She indicated the king also to come and fold his hands. Both were in a bowing posture. The monk looked at them and then, when they said, Namostu, Pranam, he raised both his hands and said, Ubhayor Dharma Vriddhirastu. I bless you both with Dharma Vriddhi. May your Dharma increase day by day. The king was astounded. He could not believe his eyes and ears and senses. How can a person, let him be a monk, how can he bless me who has tortured him unexplicably? How can he bless me? This is impossible. But the truth was truth. He was observing the monk. His hands were like this, and his words had just faded in his ears. Ubhyor dharm vriddhirastu. May you both flourish in dharma. He thought for a moment, he contemplated within himself. If somebody had committed such a crime, what would be the punishment for him given by a king. I am the king and I am the criminal. So, this is the moment of justice. I should behead myself at the holy feet of this sacred monk. The monk instantly stopped the king and said, "No, suicide is also a sin. There are other methods of purification. So don't think about killing yourself." The king was very much surprised. I had not spoken a word, and how could he read my mind? He looked dumbfoundedly at the queen. The queen smiled and said, "He is my guru. He can see your past and future lives too. Just try it." The king asked his past lives from the monk, and he answered everything. The king became a devotee of the Jain Muni, the Jain monk. His life changed. This is called Tyag Dharm. The sadhu gives blessings even for the enemies. There are different kinds of blessings. Of course, they are written in the scripture. For a sinner, they say, "May you be sin free." For a devotee, they say, "May you acquire peace of mind." There are different kinds of blessings in Achar Sar, Niti Sar, etc. In many scriptures, there are blessings. The one who has tortured him, the monk blesses him. This is called Uttam Tyag. How can a simple human being, a common man, imagine of doing such a thing? But by listening to these events, in these stories, our heart also becomes purified, and we can also change our thinking patterns, change our lifestyles, and become helpful for the universe. The earth needs healing. Everywhere there is strife, there is struggle, there are terrorists, there are people who are submerged in vices. The earth needs healing. So every day we can just sit like this in meditative posture, keeping our back erect, neck erect. Breathing calmly. Addressing our own inner power. Reciting the Mahamantra Namokar. Namo Arihantanam in our hearts. Namo Siddhanam in front of us. Namo Airyanam on the right side. Namo Vajjanam on the back side. and Namo Lois of the sound on the left side. And then let all the five of them shine, glow, and emit light. Let the light purify me and heal the world. If this process is performed at a specific time every day, the combined energy will definitely heal the world. It is peace that is most needed but most unheeded. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loe Savvasahunam. Om Hreem Uttam Tyag Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttam Tyag Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttam Tyag Dharmangaya Namaha. One more incident we are remembering. Acharya Shantisagar Maharaj Shri had gone to the Uttarapath, and one Brahman, Chiddi Brahman was his name, he attacked him with a naked sword, but was caught by the officials. And when the officials came to Acharya Shri and said, "This guy was trying to murder you. What would you say about him?" Acharya Shri said that I would just say that I forgive him and you also please leave him alone. I don't consider him my enemy. It were my karmas which came up and he performed such an act. I don't consider him a criminal. He was misled by someone. His own evil that resides in many people misled him. So I forgive him. And if you don't leave him, I won't take food or water. The Brahman was surprised. His heart melted and he reached the feet of Acharya Shantisagar Maharaj Shri and said, "I was providing you death and you are providing me life. I was utterly mistaken about you. My hatred was shameful. I am extremely sorry. Please forgive me." Acharya Shri said, "You are already forgiven. You have been already forgiven." And he just gave blessings. This is called Uttam Tyag Dharma of monks. He became a devotee. But later on, the police, due to the laws, could not do what Maharajji wanted. So they had to imprison him for the lifetime. This Maharajji did not know all this, but he was given life imprisonment later on. Jainam Jayatu Shasanam.